if we want to differentiate between, we want to isolate the soleus from the gastroc, what do we want to do to the gastroc?
Short.
Make it really short. Okay. So if we want to make the gastroc short, what position do we want the knee to be in?
Flexed.
Flexed. And what, are you two working together today or what? And what position do you want the ankle to be in? If we're shortening the gastroc, what do we want it to be in? We want it to be pointed, okay? Now, go ahead and relax. So that is our way of trying to isolate the soleus from the gastroc, is by putting the gastroc in as short a position as possible. Now, both the gastroc and the soleus obviously plantar flex the foot, right? So for this one, we're going to have Jimmy go ahead and point your toe up, great, and relax, okay? So now, the interesting part about this test and the thing that students get wrong most consistently is go ahead and put your foot up. One would think that you would apply resistance of that plantar flexion in the forefoot, but that is not the case. Hold it there, Jimmy. I'm actually going to pull up on the calcaneus and relax. Okay? So that is how you're applying the resistance. So not on the top of the foot, but you're actually trying to pull the calcaneus up. Okay? Alright, so that's the soleus manual muscle test. What position would you put him in if he wasn't able to plantar flex against gravity? Sideline. Okay, good. Alright, so Jimmy, I'm going to have you stand up for the last test of class.
Oh my god.
Ever! How crazy is that? This is probably the easiest one of all the manual muscle tests.
I like that ending.
So I'm going to have you face the table. Now, you can use this for balance, but if I start to see you putting some weight on your fingers, I'm going to chop your fingers off. Okay? So I'm going to... Oh, no. So I'm going to have you stand on just your left foot. And now what I want you to do is raise your heel off the floor and back down. And can you do that 5 times?
Just really? That's not part of the muscle test, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
5 times?
Yeah. So if you can do it 4 or 5 times, it's a 5. If you can do it 2 or 3 times, it's a 4. If you're able to clear the floor once, it's a 3. And if you can't clear the floor once, then you go into sideline and you use the same manual muscle test grades for gravity eliminated. Okay? So all it is a heel raise. Now, it's multiple heel raises. Now you do want to make sure that you have something for it. Some people, the trick for this one is if they don't have the balance to do it, which can be the case post-operatively particularly, you don't want to ding them because they just don't have the single limb balance. So start by making sure they have the single limb balance first, and then test them. If you just can't get it, then what you're going to want to do is put them on the table, have them point their toes, and then you're going to apply resistance in the top of the foot, but you're not going to get as accurate of a measure, right?
Would you do that in sideline?
No, because it's a balance issue, not a strength issue, right?
Say you needed gravity eliminated though, would you just
Then you would go into
on
sideline.
the top of the foot?
Well, so let's go ahead and have you go into sideline. So I asked Jimmy, so it didn't appear to be a balance issue. He was able to single limb stand on that foot quite well. But as soon as I asked him to lift his heel, he couldn't clear his heel off the table. Okay? So now I have him in sideline. Jimmy, I'm going to actually come behind you here. And what I would like you to do, I'm just going to hold your leg. I'd like you to just point your foot down for me. Good. And do you have any problems with that?
No.
Okay. So go ahead and hold it there. I'm going to try to pull your foot up and you don't let me, okay? And relax. So he would get a 2+ because he had full available range in gravity eliminated position and he was able to take resistance. Okay? What I started to blather on about at the last minute there is if he did have a balance problem and he couldn't, it was an issue of balance more than it was an issue of strength, go ahead and just go on your back for me. Go ahead and point your foot down. Then I would be here and I would be pulling up on his foot to see. And this would be strength testing his gastroc, not in a gravity eliminated position, but it's really not against gravity either, right? He needs to be standing for it to be against gravity. So it's not a very good plan B,
Okay.
Would you do that one 5 times?
Normally you would just hold it for that 6 seconds. No, it's a great question. It's
How
an
would you
absolutely great
grade it?
question. So, if I had to test his gastroc on the table like this, we've now deviated from the standard test procedures, and so I would document that it was tested in long sitting, okay? Remember, if you're testing someone in gravity eliminated and you give them a 2+ or anything under a 3, it's inferred that you've gone to the gravity eliminated position and you don't have to document. But in this case, I've put him in a non-standard position because of something unrelated to strength. Okay? So now I need to document the different position. Were you going to add something?
Amy, when you were asking your question earlier, were you just trying to clarify that we're now applying pressure at the forefoot rather than epicalcaneus?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay? Those are our last 2 tests.